Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to City Hall. I'm Doug Farnsley. I have the honor of serving as Prospect's mayor. I will begin by noting that I have adjusted the agenda this evening. We will begin with the approval of the minutes of the November meeting, followed by citizen comments. Then I will deliver my mayor's report, and that's the way we usually do things. Then we will move into consideration of the first reading of the golf cart ordinance. In this way, residents who are here to talk about the golf cart ordinance will have the benefit of hearing from each other, hearing from me, and hearing the council discuss and vote on whether the ordinance should receive a first reading. So with that brief introduction, I'll move to the first item on the agenda, which is approval of minutes. Minutes have been distributed. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Mayor Evans moved to approve. Councilman Clark seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes stand approved. We'll move now to citizen comments. Just some ground rules so that you know, citizen comments are welcome and encouraged. You'll have 3 minutes. We ask that you step up to the lectern. This is all being recorded, so that's our record, but it's also being broadcast on YouTube. So it's important that you stand at the lectern, so the camera will be able to pick you up and the audio will be picked up. So with that said, I'll first ask Mr. Herb Schulhafer to step up.
Is there a award going to be presented tonight?
No, that will be at the January meeting. Yeah. Yeah, you jumped the gun by a month. All right. And I'm apologize in advance. I can't read everybody's handwriting, so I may have to put out some addresses here and have you all connect the dots for me. So next, I'm going to ask Larry Roy if he wants to speak. Larry, you're welcome to step up. Okay. All right. All right. So then, Brian, yes. Brian, okay. And then Brian Awood. Ahern? I'm going to have to give people some lessons on how to print. So tell us your name and your address, please.
My name is Dan Ahern.
Dan?
My
Okay.
address is 6806 Fairway View Court.
Thanks,
Hunting
Dan.
Creek.
Appreciate it.
I haven't heard any of the details in terms of the reasons why this ordinance is being proposed and probably passed, but I just wanted to relay my comments in terms of being a member at Hunting Creek, a board member, a resident, and someone who truly enjoys the area and particularly the club. And it took me. I've been a member since 2017 of the Hunting Creek Club, and it took me about 3 years to find a home here. And a big reason for wanting to find a home here is because of the privilege of being able to take your golf cart onto the golf course from your residence. So it's a privilege that we know we have, and it's unique versus other clubs, but it is a big draw to the area. And Prospect would not be the same without the club, and the club wouldn't be the same without these rules, this unique ability to drive your golf cart in the neighborhood. So I don't know the particulars. I know you guys are requesting seat belts and blinkers and brake lights, but some of these carts don't go more than 15 miles an hour, so I'm not sure why we need the seat belts. Might as well put airbags on them too. Just kidding, of course, but I just want to express how much the club has invested in the community and how much of a draw this place is for people. And our family enjoys Prospect. We enjoy everything that it offers. We enjoy what we think is a resort here with Hunting Creek, and I just want to protect what we have there and make sure everybody realizes that it is a gem here. It's a hidden gem. A lot of people don't see it who drive through 42. They don't even know the club is here. They don't understand the beauty of it and the privilege of being a member here. So I just wanted to convey that.
Thanks, Dan. We appreciate you being here.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your comments. So next I'll ask Lewis Fowler.
Hello, Lewis Fowler, 7242 Fox Harbor Road, Prospect. My only comment is, I think the drivers need to be licensed drivers only. I don't care if they have brake lights or seat belts or anything like that, but I think they do need to be licensed drivers. The other night, about 3 weeks ago, I came into the neighborhood off of 42, turned right on Fox Harbor, and there were 3 youth coming towards me, probably 14, 15, I'm not sure. I don't think any of them were licensed drivers. And they were walking towards me from the area where a 4-seat golf cart was parked over here where the map is on Fox Harbor. That's where the golf cart was parked, and they came from that direction towards me. I couldn't see them till the last minute, and I slammed on brakes. So they got out of the way. But that's the kind of thing I'm concerned about. So.
Were they driving the golf cart?
No, they were out of the golf cart at that time.
Walking
They were
toward you?
coming away from the golf cart towards me.
Okay,
So they had just parked it. I didn't see them actually park it, but they had just parked it.
okay. Thank you so
You're,
much.
you're welcome.
Ashley Smock.
I really just have questions, pretty straightforward. I've been out here since '01. I had a golf cart, I guess, since '07. Love it. We all do. It's amazing. Can pop right out to the golf course. It's incredible. It is a privilege, and we don't take it lightly. But my questions were, and I don't guess they're going to be answered right now. We'll get to that later. But my questions were, how did the ordinance come about? Why and by whom? Why is this all of a sudden come into play? I don't think anybody's had an accident or gotten killed or anything. I just didn't understand why all of a sudden now we got to play by some rules.
Actually, I'll address that in my report.
Okay.
That's a great question.
Okay. And the other thing is, if this is so important, why don't we just, and I know these policemen don't want to. They know how much we love these cars. They don't want to mess with us. They don't want to interfere with us unless it's absolutely necessary. But why can't we just authorize tickets? That kind of shut it down pretty quick. If you got to, if you got to pay some money, you know how that goes. You hit the pocketbook, people pay attention. Because I agree, kids shouldn't be running around out of control driving, and we've all been through it. We've all had our kids, coming home. What are you doing? Screaming at our kids, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. But it is such a fantastic privilege. And you all know that. You see us all the time. And I hope nothing happens, but I don't know. I just wanted to know how it all came about, why it's come about, who and by whom. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate you being here. Next, I'll ask Robbie Schulhafer.
Hi, I'm Robbie Schulhafer, and I live at number 2 Autumn Hill Court, which is on the corner of Westover and Autumn Hill. And I've been a resident of Prospect for 55 years. I used to deliver the mail out of Prospect for 30 years. So I've seen the ongoing of golf carts. And so being where we live, I see these golf carts up and down Westover. And in that, I see a lot of unlicensed drivers. And it scares me to death because, they say, okay, we've got this vehicle, we're going to be, and they're driving crazy. And I'm sorry, parents should not let them be driving these vehicles. I mean, it is what it is. kids will be kids, and you get, you know, I would hate to be the insurer of these vehicles, because the insurance companies, and I know that the golf carts, they need to be insured, and the Honey Creek, I guess, demands that. I don't know, but I travel Westover a lot, you know, 2 or 3 times a day, and I've experienced these kids driving these golf carts, and they have no concept of the cars around them because they're not licensed. They don't know the rules. They don't have any business being on a thoroughfare like that. It's scares me to death. If I'm going down Westover and I thought, oh, here we go again, and I almost want to just stop and just go on by me, which they do. They go as fast as they can, so I am so hoping that they will do something about these unlicensed drivers of the golf carts. It's just so dangerous. I would, heaven forbid, if one of them got hit, so.
Thanks, Robbie. We appreciate it. Next, Michael Dees.
Good to see you guys again. I was here back in December, and just a couple of comments. It sounds like just from the few comments that have already come up here tonight is obviously the vast majority of people think kids should not be operating golf carts. I think everybody in this room would agree with that. I've had it suggested to me by a couple of people, was there a way that if you guys pulled a 14 or 15-year-old over and they didn't have a driver's license from that standpoint, obviously besides taking them home and letting their parents know, but is there a way to penalize the parents' points on their own driver's license if they're called from doing that? I don't know if that takes, state legislation to do something of that magnitude, that, the parents have a stake in the game if they knowingly let their children go out and operate the golf cart. I think everybody in this room and everybody at Hunting Creek would say, there are 7 of the 9 components that are in the quote-unquote ordinance are pretty much already followed. I think the enforcement from a standpoint of if you were to write tickets, if you were to see underage children driving golf carts and pulling them over and tickets to be issued, you would begin to probably see a little bit more of a restraint from that particularly happening, or parents managing it more because they know if that occurs. I think I can share with the council and with the police department, regardless of what takes place in the next 60 days, there's going to be a lot more notice from a standpoint of everybody up at Hunting Creek on the whole ordinance in itself. I'll leave you the fact that, from a risk management standpoint, I know it's not out there in a public record arrangement, and, we could call and request from a public records, reveal, if you will. What in the history since Hunting Creek Country Club has allowed golf carts, or the city has allowed golf carts on the neighborhood streets up there, how many citations have ever been written? How many accidents have ever occurred? How many times has the city in the history that the club has been up there ever been involved with either a suit, an altercation, or anything involving a golf cart accident? And it may be greater than I know. I would think it would be very, very small, maybe even 0. I don't know what that might be. But when you look at the perhaps 250, 300 people that are up at Hunting Creek, as Dan said, considered a privilege, we all do. When you look at those people that are the ones that are really impacted versus perhaps the minority are saying, we need to do something about that. Even for the young lady, even you just said, we need to make sure that underage kids, teenagers that don't have a driver's license, perhaps probably forcibly know a little bit more now that this is the consequences if you get caught doing it. So those are my comments.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Next, Mr. Troy Bruce. Troy?
I think I'll send it off the list. I went and attended on speaking, but I
You're welcome to.
And I am so sorry because my reminder went off 15 minutes before. I'm like, oh my gosh, and these are my after work clothes.
You look great.
So I do apologize. First of all, I want to comment to the police officers at Patrol Prospect. You guys are fantastic. Your people are awesome. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with them. They're just friendly, really good people. So hats off to you there. Lived in Fox Harbor for 9 years, just recently downsized to a ranch in Hunting Creek. Once I downsized, I realized how neglected I was to have to drive all the way from Fox Harbor over to Hunting Creek. Now I'm right 2 doors down from the pavilion. Listening, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't remember your name. Robbie, listen to Robbie. She's absolutely correct on some things. There's no way that we should ever let our kids drive a car. If one of my kids did it, they'd be grounded for a long time. I think that absolutely people should be held responsible for that. That's just being irresponsible as a parent. And not to mention the safety of the kids and whomever else is in the neighborhood. I agree. And I think you should hit them with $100 fine, $200 fine, third time, $500, whatever it is. But before we bought the house in Hunting Creek, we looked all over the city. And finally, my wife and I sat down and said, I can't leave. I can't leave Prospect. I love Prospect. I love Hunting Creek. I love having the golf course. I've got a 12-year-old and I'm up there in age. I love that he goes to the pool every day in the summer. You know, he's not on an iPad, right? He's being productive. That is I think it's the best place in the whole city. The whole entire city, I think, is the best place in this entire city. The biggest problem that I see with it is, I mean, hold everybody accountable. That's fine. You absolutely should. And we as parents should, be responsible for our kids. But getting your golf cart serviced in this community in Louisville is not an easy task. There's very few people that do it and do it well. And there's a lot of carts and stuff out here that people are going to have to spend thousands of dollars to upgrade them, or they're going to have to sell them and buy something else. So at the end of the day, you might have, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 people. Somebody knows that stat that might have to come out of pocket $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 just because of the change of ordinance and something that they didn't do. So that's really all I got to say, other than apologize again. I won't ever show up in a hoodie again, I promise you. And you guys do a fantastic job. I love this city and I love all the people.
Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Lee Tucci is signed up. Lee, I think you're here for something we're doing next month. Okay. Herb, you're here about the award that we're going to be giving, the Craig Mile Award. Yeah. Yeah, that's next month. Yeah, you're early. You're welcome to stay till next month. But we'd love to see you next month too. Thank you. Okay. Bob Jacob.
Bob Jacob, I live on Chestnut Hill Drive, and I live on the third fairway. I've been out here for 31 years. And I agree with all the members of the club that the country club and the golf carts are an asset to the city. It increases the home values, it increases the livability. And so I fully support the golf course. I fully support the use of the golf carts on the city streets. However, gentlemen, there is a state law that requires that golf carts have certain safety features. You must have a license. You must have insurance. You must have turn signals. You must have headlights. You must have reflectors. You must have brake lights. It also requires, the seat belts. Now, I've heard when I was here last month that there was some objection to the proposal in the ordinance, and one objection was going to be the cost of making it compliant. The state law requires you to do this. Can't change that. We don't get to pick and choose the laws we want to obey. Secondly, the state law also states if you don't get permission in an ordinance, and it states specifically an ordinance from the community that is governing you, you cannot drive a golf cart on city streets. So the city of Prospect must authorize. Now, I'm not clairvoyant, and I don't know how the city council is going to vote. I don't know what's going to go into the final ordinance, but I think the city is bending over backwards to accommodate the club and to bend over backwards to give you certain timeframes in order to get it done. The cost is not an issue. Come on now. We live in homes that are between $500,000 and $2 million. You belong to a country club that God knows what it was. I used to belong to the club. You have a fee of $1,000 a year to use your golf cart. I did a little research. It took me about 15 seconds. You can buy seat belts that from Amazon between $25 and $75 for 4 people. If you can put an IKEA cabinet together, you can probably install your own seat belt. I don't know about the rest of it. I don't know what the cost is going to be, but I don't think that the cost is a very good argument. It justifies it. As far as the safety goes, I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and I spent my life piecing people together again. And a large portion of that was motor vehicle accidents. I was out at Tri-County Hospital when all we had was the I-71 accidents, and at St. Mary's Elizabeth Hospital, which was the second busiest emergency room in the city. It's a motorized vehicle. You're going to safety belts or seat belts were mandated by the federal government in 1968. There was a reason for it. It saves lives and it go ahead and decreases injuries. So that's a given. When I walk the streets of Westover and I'm seeing the golf carts going up and down and seeing 2 or 3 children under the age of 10 sitting on the back seat looking backwards and the cart going 20, 25 miles an hour, I don't see any golf cart going 50. I'm sorry. I keep wondering, the parents that are driving it, sometimes with a child in their arms, and thinking if they hit a bump in the road, if they swerve in the road, then they're going to lose a child. And if any of you have ever seen a child with a traumatic brain injury, you'll have second thoughts about the safety of seat belts in the golf carts. So as far as I'm concerned, there's no argument there. We have to obey the law. You have to get the city's permission. And it's for the safety, not only of the people in the golf cart, but for everybody else. You're saying well, they're safe. Everybody is going to follow the law. You could have to have a driver's license and that we don't get into accidents. Simply not true. I'll give you a story. One of my neighbors down the street about 2 years ago woke up and they found their brick mailbox in 1,000 pieces laying in the street. He had no idea what happened in the middle of the night. The next day, a father comes knocking on their door. With him was his daughter, 15 years old. The daughter was all battered up, missing her front teeth. Her boyfriend was driving the dad's golf cart, hit the mailbox. I don't know what happened to him. But my neighbor told me that they had this beautiful 15-year-old girl missing multiple front teeth and her face all battered to pieces. Don't know what the other injuries is. I compliment the dad because he took responsibility. They had no idea who did it. They thought it was a truck that hit it. So it happens. I heard another story of a small child who fell out of a golf cart, whether or not that child got injured. But you take a small child and you hit the pavement at 20 miles an hour with your head, you're going to have a child with a permanent traumatic brain injury. So I would support the city with the ordinance going ahead and offering time to get the carts legal. But you have no choice. The state law is the state law. We don't get to choose it. And the city must approve it because you can't drive it. You're illegal as it is now, and you will be illegal until the city passes an ordinance authorizing it. So I'm just saying that accidents happen. No matter how careful you are as the driver, you don't know what the next pickup truck or the next car coming down Westover Street. So it's a matter of safety.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your comments. Larry, did you want to say anything?
I had quite a few things that I was going to say, but a lot of what I was going to say has already been said, and I agree with all the comments that have been made. I do want to repeat a couple of things, however. I just want to thank the mayor, Mayor Farnsley, city council, the staff of Prospect, does a wonderful job, and certainly our respected police force who do a tremendous job. As it's been said before, this is a crown jewel of the state of Kentucky and maybe the whole region, Prospect, Kentucky. And we feel like Hunting Creek Country Club is a crown jewel of the Prospect as well. It's a very special place. We say it's a club like no other. So during this process, I want to thank Mayor Farnsley for communication he has had with myself, Zeke Larson, our general manager. He's kept us informed every step of the way, and we understand, we understand safety is important, and you all have to do what you have to do. I do want to say a couple things, however. That safety is clearly our number one priority at Hunting Creek. We take it very seriously. The safety of our members, our guests, our employees comes first in everything we do. We take the safe operations of both our club-owned carts as well as our member-owned carts very seriously. All carts are inspected for compliance every year with written standards, and our members are routinely communicated to the rules and regulations related to golf cart operations. You may or may not know, we have 165 member-owned carts at Hunting Creek. We do our best for those 165, but as you probably also know, there are other carts that are not members, owners that are not members of Hunting Creek. And it's a lot more difficult to regulate and communicate to those, the safety, the seriousness of maintaining safety. On occasions, we've had to communicate when we see things going on that are unsafe, such as underage driving, careless driving, too many people on the cart. So we've done our best to try to make safety our number one priority and communicate to our members. And overall, I feel like our members have followed those guidelines. There are exceptions to every rule, however, and we understand that. But I do feel like there have been accidents. You mentioned one earlier. I'm aware of that one. But overall, I think members of Hunting Creek respect the rules and the regulations of how to operate a golf cart. So basically, there's a lot been said about the fact that it's going to cost our members and the inconvenience and the time involved in getting our golf carts refitted. I would say, just to estimate, I would say most of the 165 are going to have some retrofitting done, and that will come at a cost. And we certainly appreciate you all working with this ordinance to extend it out to allow for time. As the gentleman said earlier, it takes time. There's only a certain number of places in town that do this kind of work. So we appreciate anything you can do to defer that. I think it's been said many times before with the people that have spoken, the biggest issue, and I see it and I recognize it, we don't want underage people, kids, teenagers that are not licensed drivers driving golf carts. And it can be a problem. But we feel like instead of jumping to an ordinance, if we potentially the first step would be to maybe monitor it and issue citations for those. And that's a simple ask on our part. I know that's probably not part of what your plans are, but in our view, we would have liked to maybe have started issuing citations. As someone mentioned earlier, doing that would certainly correct a lot of what's going on with underage driving, which I feel like is really the main problem as far as any violations. And overall, yes, we do have that, but in my view, it's minimal in our club. But again, let me just close by just again thanking you all. As it's been said many times by other people that have spoken, it is a privilege to have golf carts in our neighborhood. And it also is critically important for Hunting Creek as a neighborhood, as well as our club, to have that privilege continue. And we really appreciate your all's consideration on this. So thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
All right.
Appreciate that and appreciate working with you on this. I know it's a tough issue, but I appreciate that. Brian, you had signed up. You're good? Did I miss anybody that wanted to say anything? Okay, the next item on the agenda is my report. And I guess before I begin my report, I'll speak briefly about golf carts and I'll come back to it a little further on. But I agree with an awful lot of what's been said here. The club has been terrific with efforts to regulate the carts to the extent that it's able to. And the regulations that you've got, the inspections you do, I've learned a lot and really appreciate it. I get the emails and Zeke, I won't say scolds the members, but tells them that they got to play by the rules and that it's a privilege and they don't want to abuse it and we don't want to lose it. So I'll get back. I'll talk some more about that, but I did want to express my appreciation to the club, to Larry, Zeke, Greg, and the other members who are here. We appreciate you being here. Okay. With that said, this is my mayor's report for December 15, 2025. On Sunday, November 23rd, under the able leadership of Tina Bevan, the city hosted another successful trail bash in Harrods Creek Park. In addition to thanking Tina and volunteers who assisted her, I extend the city's thanks to Ron Cundiff and his public works team for getting the trails in top shape. The event included 5K and 10K trail runs and a festive atmosphere. I'm hopeful that in 2026, we will be able to encourage Prospect residents who are not participating in the event to join the fun in the park's parking lot. Because the event uses most of the space in the lot for registration and other event-related purposes, we need to figure out a good system to ferry spectators from Montero Drive down to the lot and then back up the hill to Montero. While I'm on the topic of Harrods Creek Park, I'm pleased to report that Ron ordered and installed a plaque that advises parkgoers who use the new stream crossing bridge that they are walking across the Linda Wardell pedestrian bridge. On a different topic, I extend the city's thanks to Liza Farnsley and Ron Cundiff for their efforts leading to the installation of holiday lights on City Hall and on the John Evans Pavilion. Liza and Ron interviewed 3 vendors and selected Zeppa Landscaping to install the lights. Under the arrangement we have with Zeppa, they will remove the lights after the holidays, they will store them and reinstall them next year. The lights have proven to be a popular addition to US 42. Turning now to another topic. On November 19, more than 50 city volunteers and staff members joined me, our council, and our police chief and his assistant chief for a festive breakfast at the Hunting Creek Country Club. Our purpose was to express the city's appreciation to our volunteers and staff and to celebrate our city and community. The event gave us an opportunity to take stock in how fortunate we are to live in a city where our residents and staff care for one another and help make Prospect the special place it is. On Sunday, December 7, the Art Committee in this room held a closing reception for their Natural Elements exhibition. Members of the Art Committee, the artists, and spouses attended. The event included an excellent panel discussion moderated by exhibition chair Janie Langen. The panel included 4 of the artists whose work appeared in the exhibition. At the conclusion of the reception, the artists retrieved their art. I was gratified that several artists chose to leave their work in place until the next exhibition opens on March 23rd of 2026. I was even more pleased this afternoon when members of the committee came to City Hall, filled in the gaps by hanging additional art, creating this impromptu art exhibition that we can enjoy this evening. On a related note, Ron Cundiff has created the 2026 Prospect Calendar, which is available in the outer lobby. As you leave, please pick one up. And it features the art that's appeared here in City Hall in the last 2 years. So it's a very nice calendar filled with a lot of good information for the city. And we thank Ron for all his work and all his, he was a printer before he became Public Works Director here. So we benefit from that. And I'll also mention this book, 50 Years in Prospect, written by our former mayor, John Evans, who's now on our council. And it's available out in the outer lobby. There's some here in the back counter in this room, but please pick one up. They're free. It's a great book, very informative, very actually entertaining. And I think you'll enjoy reading it. I read it when it was in draft form. I was in City Hall on the weekend and I read it, sat on my desk for a week or two, and then I read it. And I literally found myself laughing out loud as I was reading it. So I think if you'll take the time to take a look at it, you'll enjoy it. I'll mention briefly, we did receive a $100,000 grant from KIPTA to study the intersections on US 42, other than the 3 intersections where the traffic lights are now and where roundabouts will be installed in the next few years. So then that raised the question of how do we deal with our other intersections on US 42? And the purpose of this grant is to get a good study that'll help guide us in future years and help guide the state. And the city will have a $25,000 match, but I think those will be funds that'll be well invested. Now switching gears to the meeting agenda. We have heard from citizens about the golf cart ordinance. I will begin my remarks by stating that the issue of golf carts was not on my radar. Approximately 6 months ago, someone mentioned to me that regulating golf carts had come up at a meeting of the Estates of Hunting Creek HOA. I did not pay much attention to that. About 3 months ago, a citizen came to Coffee with the Mayor and voiced concern about children driving golf carts. I then focused on the fact that the state of Kentucky has a statute that permits a city to adopt an ordinance regulating golf carts, thus making the operation of golf carts in the city legal. It's not legal now. It's a sad fact, but it's a true fact. After hearing the comment at Coffee with the Mayor, a second citizen expressed concern about an unrestrained infant being held by someone driving a golf cart. A third member of our community reported that she had seen a golf cart operated by a child who was clearly not 16 years old. The child was looking at his phone as he was driving, and the child's father was sitting next to him. Hearing these incidents convinced me that expecting parents to supervise their children is not going to solve this issue. And despite the best efforts of the club, I don't think the club just doesn't have the ability to regulate what occurs on Prospect City streets. On Friday, a member of the club sent an email to a council member, which was then forwarded to me. And in that email, the member wrote, quote, "While I have seen kids driving golf carts in an unsafe manner, it's a very small problem. It's just a couple of families that create the issue. With all due respect to the author of the email, unsafe operation of golf carts on Prospect City streets is not a very small problem. Rather, it is a very big problem." When I read that, I became even more convinced that the city needs to step in. The club has done the best it could to encourage safe operation of golf carts, but it does not have the ability that the city does to insist on safe operation. The individual who sent the email suggested the city should just deal with the children and their families that are causing the problem. From my perspective, we have no legal framework within which to do that. The fact is that every golf cart operating on the city streets that the state of Kentucky has not licensed is operating illegally. My only goal in supporting the ordinance is safety. Safety for club members who own and operate golf carts, for children who should not be operating golf carts, for children who are passengers on golf carts, for visitors to Prospect, for the operators of commercial vehicles, and for Prospect residents who walk and drive on our streets. I fully support the ordinance that is before the council this evening. I am embarrassed that it has taken me 3 years to see that we have a problem, and I am deeply appreciative to the citizen who came to Coffee with the Mayor and raised the issue. That completes my report. As I stated earlier, I have adjusted the agenda so that the next item we will address is an item of new business, the golf cart ordinance that is up for a first reading. It actually received a first reading at our previous meeting, but we made some changes to it, largely in response to concerns raised by the club about the very big undertaking of retrofitting golf carts and the time that that would take. So in view of those changes, our city attorney advised that we needed a new first reading. So the ordinance is before the council this evening for consideration of a first reading. So turning to the agenda item of new business, is there a motion by someone on the council to give a first reading to ordinance 658, series 2025, and that's the ordinance for regulating the operation of golf carts?
So move.
Mr. Holmes made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Mr. Gibson. All right, motion's been made and seconded. Is there discussion?
Yes, I had a question because I know last time at the meeting, we discussed maybe having a phased-in approach of like, all new golf carts should have all this, but maybe the old golf carts have a phased-in approach to be retrofit. Is it, I don't see it. Is it in here? Or am I missing it?
And
Okay.
I can address that. So what we had thought we would try to do is adopt the ordinance so that it would require by next spring all the items mandated by the state law, but not the seat belts and the turn signals, and to defer enforcement of that part of the ordinance for until we were actually thinking about a year from now. But we've instead moved to drafting the ordinance in such a way that enforcement becomes effective upon adoption, but enforcement does not begin until March 1 of 2027. And the reason for that is, it was pointed out to me that the statute does not give us the ability to adopt an ordinance that doesn't include all those safety items that are listed.
It's all or none.
It's all or none. So we're obligated to operate within the law, and that is the law. And it made sense to me. So that's why we've come up with this new first reading,
And then the enforcement will be March of 2027.
March 1 of 2027.
So it gives people time to get it.
So,
It gives them time. Mr. Holmes?
so Mayor, the March of 2027 is just for the items to be installed in the cart. It doesn't say that you can be underage and driving a golf cart. Is that correct?
Of course it is. You have to, the statute requires and the ordinance requires that only licensed drivers may operate golf carts.
So anybody who's underage driving a golf cart now, even though we're giving the golf cart owners time to get the golf cart fixed up, they're not allowed to drive
They're not,
the cart.
nobody's allowed to. Nobody. But I mean, I think we would all agree, especially children. I mean, that just is common sense, and I think everybody here is in agreement with that. But it was pointed out at the last meeting, somebody said, well, how many infractions have there been? How many violations have there been? How many times has a cart been operated illegally? And the response from our assistant police chief was 100%. All carts are operating illegally. Okay.
I had the same
Yes,
question.
Ms. Leonard?
So as soon as this ordinance is enacted, the police can start issuing citations or fines? Or are we holding that until March? In other words, underage drivers, are we extending the time period for them also?
No, we're not, we've never given a time period for underage drivers. We've never given authority to my friend Ashley Smock to drive his golf cart. You know, we trust that he'll operate it. So there's been a gentleman's agreement in place for a good many years, a good many decades. But
Then my question is, when will we start citing underage drivers?
that's a very complicated question. And I would say, how do you cite people for violating a law you're allowing them to violate?
Because the law in Kentucky requires a license to drive a golf cart.
I'm not disagreeing with you. And I think we'll work on trying to enforce the things that are obvious. But it's not as easy as it sounds when we've got a whole scheme that's outside the law.
I understand. One of the other things that I thought we might do also is put a few signs up on places like Westover, getting ready for whenever we're going to enforce it, warning people that you need to be a licensed driver to be in golf carts.
Thanks, Sandra. Is there other discussion?
I had something, Mayor.
Yes.
First, I appreciate everything the club does to regulate the golf carts. One of our speakers mentioned that there are people that have carts that aren't paying the trail fee. Are we going to communicate citywide? A sign's a good idea, but send out letters or city mayor?
We'll work on making sure everybody knows about the.
Yeah, we need to make sure that the people that aren't involved with the club know.
Get the word
know
also.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is there further discussion? If not, are we ready to move to a vote? So I'll begin with Dr. Furman.
Yes, I like the revisions of March 2027, so
So
yes.
The vote is on
Yes.
first reading of the ordinance. So Dr. Furman voted yes. Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mayor Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes? Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Leonard?
Yes.
Okay, so that is approved by a vote of 6-0. That's the first reading. This same ordinance will be before the council 1 month from now for a second reading and possible approval. But it's not approved yet, but that's where this appears to be heading. So everybody who came, we really appreciate you being here. You're welcome to stay and see how your government works, but you're also,
Free to go.
we're also, I thought I would spare you some of the things on the agenda. You're definitely welcome to stay, but we appreciate you being here.
Can I ask a question?
Probably not. I'll talk to you later, Ashley. We need to stay on track with this. Thank you. And Ashley, I'll talk with you tomorrow. Yeah. Greg, thanks for coming. Now I've got to find my agenda. Got an agenda for me? I've lost mine.
They don't need me, so.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, we're going to return to the regular order on the agenda. Next item is the monthly financial report. That'd be Mr. Carter.
Summarizing November's financials. I sent out that report this afternoon. It was a little late, but that's what I'm summarizing here. So currently in the bank, in November, we had almost $500,000. And our investments at KLC totaled $4.4 million. So cash on hand currently is just over $5.1 million. At this point of the year, we have received about 75% of our income, and we've spent roughly 40% of our budget expenditures. Restricted road aid balance is currently at $177,000. Our capital project fund budget balance is now at $565,508. I'll point out we're earning interest of roughly $72,000 as of this past month. And if you have any questions?
Yeah, did I understand you to say that cash on hand is about $5 million?
Correct, currently.
500,000, wouldn't it?
No,
5 million.
5.1 million.
that includes all our
I
investments.
thought you said cash in and then you said investments.
Cash on hand is about 5.1 million.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's
But
happened.
you have to remember, we have about 3.1 million of expenses.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
John said we've got 75% of our income for the year.
And only spent 40% of the expenditures. So there's quite a ways to go.
This is the time of year, I think.
This is where it peaks.
Yeah.
It's a downhill run from there.
That's right. You know, as chair, I missed a step when we were considering the golf cart ordinance. That is, we need a first reading. So Mr. Holmes, would you read the ordinance?
City of Prospect Ordinance Number 658, Series 2025, an ordinance authorizing and regulating the operation of golf carts on certain public roadways pursuant to KRS 189.286 and creating a new chapter 75 of the City of Prospect Code of Ordinances for that purpose.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is commission and board reports. So do we have a parks report?
We didn't meet.
Okay, Parks Committee, and forestation? Linda?
I do have several things to report. Start with the really good news. The canopy trees are all in place. They went in right before Thanksgiving, and I've already received feedback from one of the recipients about how happy they were with the quality of the tree and the professional installation. So I think it's a good program. And one aspect of the canopy trees that week was there was a memorial tree for Jim Phelps, who was a very active member of Fox Harbor. And it was planted in time for all the family to come on Thanksgiving and see the tree. So that meant a lot to the family, and I'm glad we were able to make that happen. On some kind of disappointing news, our wonderful arborist, Andrea Hanlon, is retiring. And her credentials and her ability to work over and above when we've needed her has just been exceptional. She's really taken good care of us. So we have initiated a search to get an equally qualified arborist. There are actually 58 certified arborists in this area within 50 miles, but a lot of them have professional affiliations, like they work for LG&E, they work for Bob Ray, so there could be conflict of interest that would not make them suitable candidates. But we have some leads on some people, so we're researching that. And speaking of arborists, we are busy working on our Tree City application. We think there's no reason to doubt that we won't have another certification. We'll get the application in yet this month, and we'll go from there. Now we're looking at a new project. And we're kind of excited about this because we said, well, we don't really do a whole lot in the winter. So what can we do to help the community get more involved with trees? So Herb went to a lecture at Creasy Mahan that he said on oak trees, it was so interesting that, you know, even if you weren't a serious tree person, you probably enjoy it. And that maybe that could be something we could offer to the community if the individual would come here and work with us. So, okay, that sounded like a pretty good idea. And there's some other people here in the community that could be wonderful speakers on tree topics. So we said, what else could we do? So we thought, okay, there are roughly 11 tree cities in the metro area. Why not put all of us together to talk about what ideas could be shared, what worked, what didn't, sources to get things done that benefit tree communities. And then I reached out on Friday to the Kentucky forester that came to Arborfest, who was just wonderful, and said, Jack, will you get us involved in this, and can you help do this? So I haven't heard back from him, but we're hoping to do an event that, you know, invite everybody to Prospect, and maybe sometime late January, early February, that all of the residents could come and these Tree City interested people could join us for, you know, what we think could be kind of a really fun event. So that's my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Linda. And this will be a spoiler alert. If you don't want to know who the winner is of the Beach Craig Mile Award, turn the volume down. But that's why Lee is here this evening and Herb's here, is because in January we'll be making the award to Linda Knox with the Beach Craig Mile Service Award for her good work, not just on forestation, but also as the president of our HOA and as a volunteer in the library. So Linda, thanks for all you do, and we'll more formally recognize you next month. Okay, Jefferson County League of Cities, Sandra.
Actually, we did not have a meeting, and what we had was the annual dinner, and it was as well attended as ever. The project that Don Gibson and I are working on is really, as I said before, it's to profile all of the cities, and we'll have 2 reports in January. One report is, believe it or not, there was no document that told Metro Council members what cities were in their council districts. Parts of them are there, but nothing altogether. So for our first big report, we'll be listing that, and then it will go out to all the council members on the Metro Council so they'll know, and it will have all the contact information for mayors. So that'll be done. The second one is back to what Linda was talking about. One of the mayors that I talked to was very interested in all of this. And so after I talked to him, he was interested in becoming a Tree City. Well, I called Linda because who knows more about that than she and Lee Tusi. Anyway, they talked. They are interested in being involved. And our second report will be all of the Tree Cities with contact information for Jefferson County. Already, I've got 2 mayors that want to become Tree Cities. So it won't just say who is, it'll say who wants to be. Anyway, it's been very positive, very positive.
Thank you, Sandra, for your work with the League of Cities and for your report. We appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is the police report.
Yes, sir. It'll be brief tonight. First, I wanted to start out personally thanking our residents. We put out on 11/10, there was a little over $10,000 worth of damage done to the breakers at the entrance over there. Information that we had worked up was immediately cooperative when we put out that video and the other information with it. We received multiple calls to dispatch cooperating who we were following and eventually led to an arrest on the 25th for that. So I want to personally thank people who called in to give us information because it helped corroborate what we already had. And that's very important to us. And I wanted to make sure I personally thank people for calling me for that. That was a very good arrest. Garage doors open, which we really are kind of harping on. There were only 3 that we had. They were all in Fox Harbor for some reason. I'm not sure what was going on during that time, but there were only 3. And late watch patrols very diligently for that because that is a huge enticement for people to come out here and break in. And speaking of the car hoppers, who we always talk about, Chestnut Hill back in September, late watch, popped them. They had already gotten a few cars, but were able to stop them during that. Over here in the landings, we had the one back in a couple months ago. On the 7th, Sergeant Cirillo on late shift saw a vehicle go off River Road off onto Sedgwick, commit a traffic violation up around right around Wyndham. He attempted to stop them. They immediately took off. I'm sure they were in the neighborhood to break into cars. We're almost positive it was a stolen vehicle at the time. Shot back out Green Mirror up onto 42, went flying down 42. This is about 4:20 in the morning. But diligent patrol has struck again. That was a great job by Sergeant Cirillo. We didn't receive one report that anybody broke into a vehicle. And as soon as they immediately took off, we knew it was a stolen vehicle. But 0 cars were broken into that night over there because of his diligence. But, and again, if anybody sees anything, especially when it's the middle of the night like that, immediately call us. Even if you think it might be an Amazon driver, but it also might not. And because they are coming out in the middle of the night at early times like that. But I can't stress enough how much I appreciate the phone calls we got. It corroborated what we already had. But if we didn't have that initially, it would have led us to be able to make that arrest. So it's very important and I'm very grateful. That's our report.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Tony?
Thanks for sending out the follow-up on that.
That was good.
As a lot of people ask,
Credit to Michael.
what happened? Okay, thank you, Michael.
We dealt already with one item of new business. We'll move to the rest of the new business items. The first item, I understand, is the ordinance relating to the amendment and modification of Chapter 150, requiring EV charging stations to be installed in new or enlarged commercial parking. It's my understanding we're going to pass that and not deal with that this evening.
That's correct.
That'll be considered at a future meeting. Mr. Holmes has had an opportunity to talk further with other council members. So the next item on the agenda is first reading of ordinance 659, an ordinance concerning the annexation of city-owned property at 6696 Shellhaven Avenue into the city of Prospect. And John, do you want to give a introduction on
Well,
that?
this just, is, I think everybody knows where this property is over there behind the fire department. For us to pursue the annexation, we basically need the council to prove that the parcel owned by the city can be annexed, even though it's just us.
And this is part of a process.
Yeah,
It
it's just,
involves a lot more area. This is just one parcel and getting this taken. This happens to be a parcel that we own that's outside the city.
Is this just the front part of it, or does it include the back sections?
we own just one parcel, it's the entire parcel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is consenting to the parcel we own. This doesn't include any of the other parcels.
Okay.
We're going to work on that, and we have been working on it, but this is just to deal with the part that we control.
I guess the reason for my confusion is if I look at the attachment, it looks like the last owner is other than us. Or I misread it.
The back of it.
You wouldn't see Prospect until we convey it to someone else.
Until what?
If we were conveying it, then you would see at the bottom our name, but it was property. It came from Deepak's company, Joed LLC. So that's correct.
Right. Shouldn't we say somewhere on here that it's ours?
I believe it's in the body of the ordinance. Says we're fee simple owner of that property described on Exhibit A.
Oh, in the top, okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to give a first reading to this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Clark moved, Mrs. Leonard seconded. Is there discussion? I'll ask for the yeas and nays. Mrs. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Holm?
Yes.
Mr. Evans? Yes. Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Dr. Furman?
Yes.
That is approved by a vote of 6-0. So I'll ask Mr. Clark if you would, I can't remember who made the motion.
He did.
He did.
Would you read the title for us?
Sure. City of Prospect Ordinance Number 659, Series 2025. An ordinance consenting to the annexation of city-owned property at 6696 Delhaven Avenue into the city of Prospect.
Thank you very much. That'll be on the agenda at the next meeting, next regular meeting in January. So the next item on the agenda is Municipal Order 5, an order consenting to the nomination by the mayor of a citizen to serve on the City of Prospect Ethics Commission and affixing a term of office thereto. That is to appoint John Embry to serve a 3-year term ending on December 31, 2028. Is there a motion to approve that municipal order?
So moved.
Okay, Dr. Furman made the motion. Is there a second? Mrs. Leonard
And
seconded.
I think we also ought to thank him. He's done this for a very long time.
Yes. He has indeed.
Agree.
Can't seem to wiggle out of it.
Well, we're very appreciative, John, that you've done it for so long. Really, you were the first or the second?
I believe it's second.
Yeah, the first was, there was another one before you. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chairperson when
Uh-huh.
she didn't want that anymore, and so she agreed.
And so you ended up with it. How many years has it been? How many years has it been?
I think I was initially appointed 2008.
You and I both had not white hair at the time. Yes.
Thank you for serving up to now and for agreeing to serve, to continue to serve.
And if I may make a formal, it's coming out.
Of course. Yeah.
Please, when you get it, return.
Okay. Let's do a roll call. Mrs. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yeah.
Mayor Evans?
I don't know about this, Embry. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Gibson, Dr. Furman?
Yes.
All right. John, thank you again, and thank you to the council for approving that appointment. And finally, we've got municipal order number 6, and this is appointing an individual to serve on the Prospect Code Enforcement Board, and that is Wanda Powers, who is currently serving. This appoints her to serve a term of 3 years ending September 15, 2028. Is there a motion to approve that municipal order?
So moved.
Dr. Furman made the motion.
Second.
Mr. Clark seconded it. Is there discussion?
Just one comment. When we list that on the agenda, could we list the name of the person?
Sure.
I think that people
That'd be
will be
helpful.
able to see that. they
Absolutely,
volunteered.
that'd be helpful. And there's a typo, please.
It should be December 15th, not September 15th.
September 28th, 15th, should be December.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll correct that in in the municipal order. Okay, so we need to vote. Dr. Furman?
Yes,
Yes.
We did have a motion, didn't we?
Not on this
I
one.
think I made a motion to,
Okay, let me ask for a motion on this order, on this municipal order appointing Wanda Powers. Or motion to make.
so moved.
Dr. Furman.
Second, yeah.
And you second.
Clark seconded. We did that.
We did that.
Sorry.
It's okay. Going really fast.
Fast.
We're moving, the train is moving right now. Dr. Furman,
Yes,
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Evans? Yes. Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Leonard?
Yes.
Okay, that's approved. That concludes our agenda. So if there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Move.
second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Yeah. You know, anything's gonna be up.